Hi, everybody. My name is Dana Green Remedios, and a question that I have been getting a lot lately because I'm a holistic nutritionist is what can I do to support my immune health? So, this is a great question. Of course, it's on everyone's mind these days because of the pandemic, the coronavirus, or COVID-19 as it's been named. But this is applicable for our whole lives and to every situation that we might run into. And in fact, these types of situations with new and not very well understood viruses and also antibiotic resistant strains of bacteria are likely to increase, become more common as the years go by. This is just part and parcel with the changes that are going to happen with globalization and climate change and all of these things. So I want to speak a little bit to how our immune system works and what you can do to support your immune health. So we have two parts of our immune system, and I think that understanding the way that the immune system works in basic terms is important because a lot of the time we have misunderstandings about the way the immune system works in the first place, and this leads us to taking the wrong kinds of actions. So I'm going to explain a little bit how the immune system works. So one of the main misunderstandings that I run into is this misunderstanding about what symptoms mean. So symptoms like a cough or, loose stool or, even vomiting, anything that tries to get stuff out of the body like sneezing, these all serve a purpose. And these are actually the signs of an immune response, meaning these are signs that you have a functioning and healthy immune system. So let that sink in for a minute. A lot of people think that these are the illness, the sneezing, the coughing, the mucus, the things that, that feel uncomfortable, that these are the illness and that this is what we're trying to get rid of. This is a misunderstanding. These are also, things that happen to healthy people. These are signs that your immune system is working. So we don't necessarily want to completely eliminate them. We don't want them to drag on forever and ever. And we don't want to be going through these things all of the time, certainly. But if you get these symptoms, it's not necessarily a bad sign. It's a sign that your immune system is mounting a response to something. So if I were to ask you, is it true that bacteria or fever or sneezing are bad? Hopefully now you understand that the answer is no. In and of themselves, they are not bad. And in fact, bacteria are a big part of our immune system and a big part of how we mount our immune response in the first place. So we don't want to necessarily categorize all microbes as bad. So if the body's working properly and these symptoms aren't illnesses, then what they really are is their defense mechanisms. They're ways that the body gets stuff out. So if you're coughing, if you're sneezing, if you have loose stools or diarrhea, it's just ways to clear out a lot of the infectious material or toxic material that the immune system is here to defend us against. It's here to defend us against antigens like pathogens and bad bacteria or viruses or things like that, and also toxins, so things that our body doesn't want in the body. It's going to help to clear those out. So to explain why this is important to understand is that there's a misunderstanding that if you have symptoms and you have them a lot, then you're a sick or weak person, and that if you don't have symptoms, it must mean that you're healthy. And this is a big misunderstanding, and that's why it's possible for people right now to have COVID-19 and to infect others and not to be showing symptoms. And the types of people that tend to go their whole lives saying, I've never been sick, are often the ones that then fall down dead quite quickly, when they find out that they do have something. So to give an example, it's quite common to hear of somebody that was healthy, and then they found out that they had, late stage cancer, or that they just suddenly had a heart attack and then they died. And so not having symptoms isn't necessarily a sign of good health, and it's not necessarily a sign that your immune system is so strong that you're impenetrable to things. And I'll explain a little bit how that works. Basically, I also want to explain a little bit about why it makes sense that people are behaving so badly right now amid all of this. So, of course, the word pandemic might create a lot of chaos in society, because some people are afraid of that word. It might trigger panic. And the news is, of course, so focused on this. And, it is, especially for the most vulnerable, it is a pretty serious situation. But when we are fearful about it, it automatically can trigger this kind of crazy behavior, like the buying up of all of the toilet paper. So let me explain how these things are related. We have, of course, a fight or flight system. Most of you can probably explain to me how this works and why, we had it from many, many years ago. The typical story of the hunter who has to run away from the something that they're hunting. But we also have a pause and plan system. And this is the system that most people don't talk a lot about. And so we want to activate our pause and plan system so that we can react in a measured and calm and sensible way to pandemics. And we don't necessarily want to be acting out of our fight or flight system. Not only does it make us block out the function of the prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain that is capable of making measured decisions and self-control, and not buy up all of the toilet paper and leave some for others. But by using the part of our brain that's really triggered when we are fearful, we're likely to not only engage in rude behaviors like we've seen in people out in the shopping areas, but it also means that we're not thinking the most logically. So we might do things that aren't necessarily going to help us that much with our health. Of course, washing our hands and not touching our faces is one of the best things that we can do. And it's really, when we get triggered into the fight or flight, it means that we're running on really adrenaline, and we're not in a relaxed state. And that directly impacts our immunity. So right now we know that an immune response with symptoms, that's not really bad. And not having symptoms isn't necessarily good. Well, what triggers us to not have symptoms is cortisol, the stress hormone. So if you're triggered into fight or flight, if you're really fearful about this pandemic and you can't calm down, then your cortisol levels can actually suppress your immune system response, which might be why you might not show any symptoms. So you can still pass it on to others, which makes it a lot harder to deal with this kind of a disease. So you really want to make sure that you're not only not overreacting, so that, all of society can be as healthy and prepared as possible with things like, soap and toilet paper. If I don't even think toilet paper is that great of a thing for us to be using, we should probably be using bidets anyways. But the point is, if you want to behave properly in society, don't let yourself get overly stressed out. Take a minute to take a deep breath, calm down, and just go for a walk for even 5 minutes. These things can really lower your stress hormones, which enables your immune system, which helps you to think better as well. So it's good for you, and it's good for the rest of society. So try and take a deep breath and calm down. It's one of the best things that you could probably do. Now, I also said that the immune system, it helps to figure out if there's pathogens that it has to deal with. It also helps you to deal with toxins. So if you're overloaded with toxins, or you have a pre-existing infection, long-term infectious problem, then you need to look out for yourself even better. So some of the things you can do is try and reduce your overall toxic load. Like right now, while you're afraid, and everyone is, try to calm yourself down so that you're not flooding yourself with toxic chemicals like stress hormones. And you can also surround yourself with things that clean the air, like these Gerber daisies, eucalyptus are both air cleaners. You can eat anti-inflammatory foods so that if you are prone to having an overreactive immune system, that you reduce your chances of having like a cytokine storm by eating and living in an anti-inflammatory way. Breathing, maybe meditating, maybe going for a walk, maybe enjoying nature, maybe eating something like this pineapple, which has anti-inflammatory bromelain in it. These are all things that can help you. So don't overreact or panic. Take a deep breath. Understand that symptoms they're not necessarily a bad sign. Make sure that you're relaxing frequently and taking care of yourself, that you're eating well, and also breathing healthy water and air. That's basically the main things that you can do. And I hope that helps. You want to eat a variety of fruits and vegetables all the time. And in doing that, you're feeding your microbiome. And like I was saying, most of our immune response is really dependent on bacteria. And the good ones that help to tell your body, that help to educate your body as to whether something is a pathogen that you want to fight, or whether if it's something good that you don't want to fight against. What's responsible for that education in the body, for like giving your immune system those messages? It's your gut bacteria. So the best way to feed your gut bacteria is with fruits and vegetables, a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, avoiding a lot of the worst junk food. And if you do that, you probably don't have to run out and buy a whole bunch of special immune complexes or anything like that. Just keep your hands clean off your face and eat well, breathe well, and remember the benefits of relaxation. I hope that helps.